Welcome back. Gauteng MEC for Finance and Economic Development, Lebogang Maile, gave an update earlier today on the province's financial performance. The overview included budget allocations, departmental spending, and underspending steps taken to ensure better fiscal management in future. Maile joins us now for more. MEC, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for your time. Maybe just give us a brief overview to start off with regards to the Bill of Health of the province. How are we looking as the Gauteng province financially?
Afternoon, and thanks for having us. We have been allocated money last year, and as you know, the financial year came to an end on the 31st of March. We have spent 99% of the budget that has been allocated. However, the 1% that's not spent, it's about 1.8 billion. About 1.4 billion of that is from the provincial equitable share, meaning we've got a discretion over that money in terms of how it's going to be utilized. The 400 million, it's conditional grants, which comes from national departments, meaning that we will still have to apply for rollovers, which process has started and has got support of our provincial treasury. Only 85 million of that money will not be requested for rollovers.
And then, MEC, maybe let's just go back to that 1% that you made mention of, the 1.8 billion. And there's just been what you call misinformation with regards to it returning to Treasury. Just speak to us about that misinformation and clarify exactly what it is with that underspending and if it would find its way back to citizens in terms of service delivery in anyhow.
Yes, there were reports circulating last week which says Gauteng loses 1.8 billion to national treasury, which is not the case. And that's why I was breaking the figures down for you to say of the 1.8 billion, 1.4 billion, it's money which we have discretion over as the province, and we will be reallocating. And the 400 million of that is from the conditional grants from different departments at the national level. And there's a process to ask for a rollover for that 400 million. So it's not given that the 400 million will be forfeited to national treasury because we are still applying for the rollovers, and national treasury will apply itself and advise us accordingly. And it's the same process that is undertaken every financial year. Last year, we received rollovers of about R1 billion from National Treasury. So there's nothing new about the process.
Right. So, MEC, with regards to underspending amongst departments, what do you think this reflects on? Is it poor planning? Is it delayed procurements? Is it structural issues within departments? And what measures is your department putting in to ensure that you're tightening up and really addressing the root causes around underspending?
Well, it's a combination of factors, as you have correctly said. In certain instances, it's delays in the supply chain. In certain instances, vacant posts have not been filled because there's processes that must be followed. And as a result, departments don't have approvals to proceed. And in other instances, you find that projects that are supposed to be implemented are delayed by things like land invasions and all that. So it's a combination of factors, and it varies from one department to the next.
So the Department of Health, MEC, only managed to pay, 21% of invoices within 30 days. What is being done by the Gauteng Treasury to help correct this, and just also given the devastating impact that this has not only on service delivery, but on the small service providers that are ensuring that some of these invoices and work is actually being done?
Yeah, well, that's the fourth quarter stats, which is the lowest. In other quarters, they did better than that. So it's not like a trend which is consistent in terms of the 21%, but we are concerned about their ability to pay on time. And we've been working with them, and they're very committed. They've even put systems in place and suggested new ways of doing things, and we are supporting them, and we are confident that they will turn around.
And what led to that improvement? You say that the 21% was the lowest so far, meaning there has been improvement. What measures were put in place in order to ensure that improvement?
Yeah, well, they are managing their budget better. And they've put internal systems as a department of health. And I think they should be able to provide the details in terms of what exactly, because the issues in health are structural and they're historic. There's also issues of accruals, which makes it difficult for them to have cash flow. So they are dealing with the accruals amongst other things, and they are also managing their goods and services budget. So there's quite a lot of things that they are doing.
And any specific consequences for some of those departments that consistently fail to comply with that 30-day payment rule under the PFMA?
Well, we have advised that the Premier must include in the performance agreements of the accounting officers the 30-day payment, so that if they don't achieve the target, they can be assessed, and it means they will not be able to access benefits that other people are able to access when they are assessed when their performance is assessed. So it's one of those things that Premier has pronounced himself on, and all MECs will have to monitor their accounting officers to make sure that they achieve that.
And I think, Premier, at the heart, or rather MEC, at the heart of many residents in Gauteng, it boils down to service delivery. What assurances can you give them that none of these fiscal outcomes would impact some of the very important services that they look to get on a daily basis within the province?
No, we definitely can assure the public that we've got systems in place to ensure that every cent that is spent by the provincial government departments is spent with caution, and we ensure that there's value for money. And then that's why we've put processes like the open tender system to monitor the spending of the resources. And as I've said earlier on, that we spend 99% of our budget, but we're still not happy with the 1% that has not been spent. And we would want to make sure that in the next financial year, we achieve 100% as the provincial government. That's what we're working towards.
All right, MEC, thank you so much for your time and for unpacking this budget spent for 2024-25. That is Lebogang Maile, the Gauteng MEC for Finance and Economic Development, joining us there this afternoon.